Hello everyone, right over here is the all-new BMW X3, or should I say just BMW X3. This is a very interesting moment for the BMW brand because I have really mixed feelings about the X3 model, and let's talk about it right now. At first glance, this BMW X3 had me thinking it's an oversized X1, which is a bit interesting because the previous generation looked like a downsized X5. In fact, to some extent, it looked even more interesting than the X5 model itself. For those of you wondering, BMW is the German way of saying BMW, so just don't be surprised if I keep calling it BMW. Now, the thing about the X3 model is it had a very interesting history. It was a hot seller, but it wasn't entirely everyone's favorite. The first generation X3, well, it was a hot seller. They dominated the Belgian roads, but then they vanished also very quickly, and it was just not interesting, if you know what I'm saying. The next generation X3 was a big step ahead. It was a big improvement for the X3 model. So first impression, they kind of made the front look like an X1. They abandoned the continuous headlight. Instead, they have this bonnet that eats into the headlights a bit, giving it the angry looking front. There's no twin headlight here. This is interesting. Otherwise, they have the new lighting over here, which surrounds the grille, something you'd find on the XM, the 5 Series, basically all BMW models of today. But then, to be fair, Mercedes and the Volkswagen Group have been obsessing over this, and I'm not entirely sure if this is something to be proud of, because I'm personally not a fan of this concept, but hey, if everybody's doing it, it must be popular, right? By the way, this BMW X3 costs 76,000 euros. You already get a 360-degree parking camera. Wow. Now, as of lately, BMW has been obsessing over these kind of door handles. If I'm being honest, I'm not a fan of this concept, but at least it's better than pop-out door handles, which everybody's obsessing over, and thank God they have not done this. Now, the sound of the door is also great. I just love it. BMW has the best door sounds. It's confirmed. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but there's something about the rear design that reminds me of the first generation 1 Series, because it had this exact same design right like this, and the badge right in the middle, and a completely humble rear, whereas the license plate is all the way down there. This is very interesting. I'm trying to think about it because it has this like 1 Series vibe to it. To be honest, I preferred it when they had the license plate a bit above, that gave it a more aggressive look. Check this out, you get the M with the red calipers. Right, BMW with red calipers. I have to get used to this because whenever I think of BMW with the M kit, I usually think of blue calipers. But it gets even more interesting, the interior. Check this out. So, both front seats get the seating adjustment, the front seat passenger and the driver. But look at this. You get this to adjust the climate control, the air intensity. Now, I'm not a fan of this particular design, but to be fair, BMW has been obsessing over it for a long time. So to be fair, it's nothing entirely new, but I just wish it had a more squarish shape or something. Now it is time to check out the interior of the BMW X3. So, okay, this is funny. I look at the window buttons, and that is the most basic thing in the interior, and it is hard plastic. Whereas if you look at the rest of the interior, we're living in year 2025, but the window buttons are stuck in the 2010s. Come on, BMW. And not again with those, oh no, the steering wheel again. Are we serious? Every time they have the M pack to them, they always give those Oh wait, hold on a second. Actually, the steering wheel is slightly better up here. Upwards, it's better, but underneath, it has this mountain bike effect. Oh my goodness. Come on, BMW. So for the interior, you get this huge cup holders right here with the M pillar right in the middle. And then you get 2 charging ports that are exposed, and this is to hold your phone. I don't know if it's just me, but there's something 1 Series-ish about this interior. I don't know if it's just me, because I remember the X3 used to be very busy. It had a more interesting interior. Now they've gone on the route of simplicity, which is good, but it's gone to a point where it's like you start to think to yourself, isn't this a bit more downwards? Because the previous generation X3 had this whole thing cocooning you quite literally, whereas here it's more downwards to a point where it feels like I'm in an X1 or something. It just doesn't feel the same. But otherwise, when it comes to the infotainment system, rest assured, BMW has the best infotainment system. Well, one of the best in the automotive industry, rivaling the Volkswagen Group, if I'm being honest. Now, it's easy to use, easy to navigate through the menu. This is good. Just the only thing I don't like is the fact that the screen is now more rectangular-ish, whereas before it had a more, like, it was bigger before, the screen. But it doesn't really matter. It's not a very big deal. I still remain convinced that both screens, the instrument cluster and the infotainment screen, should be separate. They should not be together. But again, those are my thoughts. Don't take me serious on this regard. There's a nice glove. Oh, wow. Okay, the glove box is tiny. I mean, look at the size of this car. It's the size of a mammoth. And this whole area sticks out very proudly, yet the size of the glove box is like that of a... Even a Toyota Aygo has a bigger glove box than that. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but you get the point here. Door bin. Oh, you can fit a bottle in that one. I think so. Yeah, it should be good. Should be. Otherwise, overall, I get the impression that when you're sitting on the driver's seat, you look outside, the bonnet is not aggressive. The bonnet is very humble. And this is different because previous BMW models had a more aggressive bonnet, you know, the waves onto the bonnet. Whereas if you look outside, it's too humble for what I saw of BMW cars before. It's something very different, but I can definitely confirm it's way too techy. And now towards the rear seat of the BMW X3. Again, the door handle is something I have to get used to because the entire interior is way ahead, but then the door handle is hard plastic. Otherwise, whoa, you get the panoramic sunroof. That's a plus. That's awesome. This is great. And you get this little area right here for your accessory. Get 2 cup holders right here. And I believe this would be for your ski hatch. Not sure about that, but I wouldn't touch it. Otherwise, detailed climate control right here with heated rear seats. That is awesome. That's good. Now, when it comes to my legroom, it is good, but my shin makes contact with the driver's seat and it can make contact with the front seat passenger as well in that case. So just be careful. It could depend on their sitting adjustment. So pray that they understand your needs. Knee room is good, but the back of the seat is plastic. So again, just beware. Headrest is wonderful. Headroom is great. So here's my conclusion of the BMW X3. For a price of 76,000 euros, this has to be one of the most interesting SUVs currently available in this segment, rivaling against the likes of the Mercedes GLC and perhaps the Audi Q5. In fact, at this point, I'm losing track right now with what's really going on because everybody is coming up with crossover SUVs to a point where I'm beginning to lose count, and some of them are transforming their crossover SUVs drastically to a point where they've lost their identity or they've diluted their identity. And unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, the BMW X3 is another, well, this all-new BMW X3 is probably another example. Let me explain what I'm talking about. The exterior had me thinking it was an X1. The moment I saw it, at very first glance, I literally thought it was an X1. But then it looked suspiciously bigger. Then I realized it's the new X3. How exciting, right? You sit at the interior, it just doesn't really feel upscale compared to the X5, if you know what I'm saying, because the X5 is a completely different planet. You can tell this is something, it's a different world, right? The X1 is clearly supposed to be on the lower part of the hierarchy. This is supposed to be at the middle of the hierarchy, if we're being honest. So it just doesn't, the interior felt like someone just took a 1 Series and made it bigger a little bit. It had a really interesting appeal to it, and I don't know if it's supposed to be something to be proud of or not, but it's me, I had mixed feelings about the interior when it came to the driver's seat. Otherwise, for the rest, it was quite average for the X3 identity and the X3 reputation. They went more techy about it. This is the big picture I'm seeing. Thank goodness though, they didn't go down the route of having a massive touch screen to control everything, because this is really starting to do. If you want something techy, modernized, and that too with a BMW badge, this SUV is for you. For a price of 76,000 euros, it's cool. It's great value for money actually. I was actually freaking out thinking it was going to be 100,000 euros, but no. They did a good job. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos that are on the run. I will see you all next time.